Hi, I'm Werner, and we're back at the Fordham Electric Company in Bethel, Connecticut. And one of the things that I find myself talking about a lot at the trade shows are the different choices we have in hand pieces. So for the next few minutes, I'd like to talk about, what options you have and why these options are available to you. First of all, I'd like to mention that all of these pieces are tested before they leave the factory. All of the motors are run to make sure that they're running smoothly, that the shafts are greased properly and things like that. And I'll tell you, somebody told me recently, cheap tools are expensive, and that's something that I'd have to agree with. If you're starting out in this industry and you're looking at different flex shafts or different hand pieces, go with something that's going to run true and help you do your job more efficiently. As a jeweler, I live in a world where a millimeter matters, and if a burr is not running true in a hand piece, it's really detrimental to the quality of my work. So I can't stress that more. If you run a hand piece, any of these hand pieces from Fordham, and the bit is not running true, chances are the bit might be bent a little bit, or you may have it chucked up a little bit to the left or to the right in the hand piece. So, back to this number 30 hand piece. Most of you are no stranger to these SR motors and these number 30 hand pieces. It's the most versatile hand piece out there. A 3-jaw chuck is very handy because it will go down to 0 or 5 seconds, and most of our bits that we're using are going to be 3 seconds or 1/8. So again, the number 30 hand piece, the most versatile of all. It's got aluminum casement around it, and as you see, we have the new blue and the pink anodized aluminum hand pieces. Maybe you need to tell your hand piece from someone else's. Here's a little tool that goes well with the number 30 hand piece. It's the Fordham drill press. It's made to accept this number 30. Okay. And also there's a couple of other attachments I'm going to mention now and show you a little bit more in depth later. The first is the Fordham belt sander. This is just an attachment that fits on the top of your number 30. Very versatile, very cool tool. One of the hottest new selling tools that Fordham has. The other new tool, even newer than the belt sander, is the angle grinder. I love this thing. I work on my old Triumph motorcycles with this, doing the cases and things like that. It turns this, linear perspective into a 90-degree angle. Anybody who has ever worked in a welding shop or fabrication shop has seen these larger versions, whether air tools or electric. But this is a really cool thing we're going to discuss later. But again, goes with the number 30 handpiece. Now, whenever we're dealing with these hand pieces, I want you to know that they're quick disconnect, or otherwise known as QD. Okay? There's some other segments in these film series from Mike Zagalski that really discusses how this works. But I'm just going to pull this off, show you how easy it is to change and move up to the number 20 quick release. The quick release hand sets have really gained popularity over the years, and I look at it this way: if I can save you a couple minutes every day, at the end of the week I've saved you about an hour or so's worth of labor just not dealing with these chuck keys and things like that. So the number 20 has a collet in it, and this collet is 3 30-second collet. All right, so you can quickly remove your burrs or your polishing setups and tighten it up this way. The collet opens and closes. These are, some of you might remember back in the old days, all things worked with a collet. A collet is simply a 3-pronged vise that holds energy and springs opened and closed. I learned something while I was working at Fordham, and it is that for all of our quick release handsets, you should always leave something in the collet, whether it's being used or not used. It'll keep dirt and dust out of the unit, and it'll also let that spring retain the energy that it needs to work as far as this collet is concerned. So the number 20 is pretty cool. Whenever you're looking at kits in the Fordham catalog, the 2230 kit is the SR motor with the number 30 handpiece. The 2220 kit is the SR motor with the number 20 handpiece quick release. Okay? I'm pretty fond of these quick releases. Matter of fact, there's a lot of different sizes on the quick releases. This is the number 18. Chances are, if you've got an LX kit in the last few years, it included the number 18 handpiece. It's a little more narrow and streamlined, and the handle works a little bit differently. But again, it's a collet system that's in here. It's got a little more length to it. This is really a nice option if you're a stone setter. Nice feeling tool. I really like this tool. I'm going to leave the burr in there like I'm told to do. Here's my favorite. It's the number 52 handpiece. This is made out of black plastic. It is a little bit thicker, and it changes out by this plunger style. When it's out, it can accept the burr and in like that. I don't know why I like this so much. I just kind of feel like it gives me a little something more to hold. I'm a jeweler all day long, and it just seems like the smaller things for me are a little bit more tricky to hold. So this is my favorite quick release handset, the number 52. My next favorite quick release handset is the number 10. This is one of the most popular stone setting handpieces in New York City. It is perceived to run the truest out of all of the handpieces, and as you can see, it's changed by a smaller black lever. It's got an ergonomic grip here at the bottom, which makes it easy to control and hold on to. And again, this is the number 10 handpiece. The other thing that I'd like to mention is that a lot of these handpieces come with the option of using a duplex spring. This is one of the few things that Fordham does not warranty, because it is actually made to bend about 30 degrees. Okay? They'll bend a lot more than that. If you bend it more, chances are you're going to break it and you're going to frustrate yourself. So I want you to know, if you're going with these duplex springs, be careful not to bend them any more than this, okay? But same deal, quick disconnect. A lot of times I'm finding that in my studio, I might change my handpiece before I change my actual burr. So keep in mind that extra handpieces in the shop, just because you have 2 or 3 flex shafts, doesn't mean you can't have 6 handpieces in your arsenal. I know, you say I'm saying that because I work with Fordham, but fact of the matter is, some of these just fit certain applications so well that, you know, when they come to the party, they're bringing exactly what you want them to have. So again, that's the number 20 with the duplex spring. Here's my favorite again, the number 52. Boy, do I like this. This is a great setup. This is actually my go-to handpiece in my jeweler's studio. While we're on the subject of handpieces, I'm going to throw out the fact that this hammer handpiece also comes with a duplex spring, or not, and it is pretty tried and true tool in the studio. If I need more flexibility than this duplex spring, I can always add a neoprene sheath or something like that to my SR motor. Most of the time nowadays, I will use my LX with my hammer handpiece. And if you watch some of my earlier segments on the Fordham tools, you'll remember that this runs at maximum 5,000 RPMs, which will keep this from burning out, okay? As we move down the line here with these hand pieces, we get into some pieces that are actually very applicable to woodworkers and stone carvers, people like that. These are old collet systems that still are used today. This number 44 hand piece really brings something to the table in that it will accept 1/4-inch collets. Now, if you know anything about machine shops or woodworking tools or light industrial tools, that usually you'll find a 1/4-inch collet on some of the larger pieces. So it's really nice to know that you have that option in a hand piece. You know, maybe you're a jeweler that does things on the side, you know, wood carving or light industrial metalworking or sculpting. You can always get an extra hand piece for your SR motor or TX or whatever you have in your shop. This one is different in that you have to change the bits with a wrench and pin setup. So I also like you to know that the 44T not only comes with a 1/4-inch collet installed, but it also comes with the 1/8 inch and the 3/32 collets available for it. This is really a powerful tool. It again, you know, it covers the gambit. The next one in line here is the number 28. It's basically the same thing, but it has a much thinner profile to it. The number 28 comes with a 1/8 inch and 3/32 collet. That should cover a lot of bases for you as well. And here's an oldie buddy goodie, the number 8. This is a really cool setup, but some things just you don't need to change. It has a slide in it so you can get your fingers up closer to the end of the tool. This is great if you need to really control or work into some small spaces. It also, just like the number 28, comes with an 1/8 inch and 3/32 collet. And remember, all of these are QDs, quick disconnect, so they're really easy to take on and off. If you're like me, you develop a real personal relationship with your tools, and when you do so, it opens up a lot more possibilities of what you can get done. So keep in mind, you can work smarter, not harder, with a genuine Fordham tool.